This is Darren Benson with Performance Motorcoaches. Wanted to do one final video while we're here in town. This coach is a sold coach. It was ordered by a customer out of San Antonio. We've not done many videos on the Verona LE. There hadn't been too many floor plan changes throughout the product inception of the Verona LE, but lots of cool stuff we were able to get done for 2025. So appreciate Abel and his family for allowing us to build him a new motorhome. We'll kind of get into it, talk about different things. So the chassis itself is the M2. This is the new Plus chassis. We'll kind of get into that inside, talk more about it. The conversion itself is a 38 LDG, which is a mid-bath. All the LEs will have 3-slide floor plan. All the LEs are built on the M2. The power underneath the hood is an 8.9 liter Cummins, mated to the 6-speed Allison transmission. 350 horse, 1150 torque. You can technically get this truck in a 112. So basically this is a M2 106 to M2 112. Looks the same other than the hood goes up a little bit bigger. A lot of the Dynamaxes, the Dynamax DynaQuest XL is still the 8.9, so 450 horsepower. I feel that the quality on the Renegade is far superior than Dynamax, and really and truly, it's still an 8.9 at the end of the day. So I feel that 350 horsepower does a good job. 1150 torque versus the 112 goes up to the 450 and 1250 torque. So really don't think that there is a much of an advantage to go to that chassis. If you're wanting more than this, I would say go up to the Explorer and get, you know, the Cascadia, much larger engine itself. So we'll kind of walk around it. You can tell the LEs. So Renegade puts these little fenders on all the LE. The Plus chassis has a little bit different grille here. It looks very similar to the old one, but it is definitely a difference there. And then the intake here is different on the Plus chassis. They started this right about a year ago, just a kind of a little small facelift. Sheet metal really hasn't changed, but you can see the dash is very similar to what you would get in a Cascadia. So a lot more modern dash. That's the similar steering wheel you get in a Cascadia, or even the newer Freightliner diesel pushers. So we'll kind of come around over here. All the Verona product, Verona and Verona LE, will have 50-gallon saddle tanks, so 100 gallons total, then your def tank right there. We'll have the nicer LED headlights, and then with the Plus chassis, they've gotten away from most of the adaptive cruise. You still have some safety, but there just hadn't been much integration with adaptive cruise and crash mitigation with this new Plus chassis. They've tried to kind of force you into the Detroit engine, and that's what a lot of the Dynamax, the competing product, a little bit lower to the Verona would be with the Detroit engine versus the Cummins engine. So previously, it was not an option to do the line baggage compartments. I was able to kind of push the guys there at Renegade. This product is built in the same factory as what you would get the Explorer, the Classic, and the XL. So it just kind of made sense to be able to offer this as an option for somebody that wanted, seeing how it's built in the same factory. Outdoor TV is standard. Of course, all of these baggage compartments are fully locking off of a remote or the keypad. 23 and newer, they started doing this combined storage compartment. So standard will be the Aquahot as well, the 450 on the LE versus 250. We have it in the showroom here. We got it buffed and polished and ceramic coated. So wait for the customer to get here. A little bit wider entry for 2025. Different paint scheme as well. So the nice 3/4 pass-through right there that goes underneath the frame. So longer, you have a like a long card table, ladder, something like that will go underneath. Always been tile floors. However, 24 and newer, they have the option for the heated tile floors, which I just thought made sense given the fact that it's a higher end product. So 25 and newer will have central vac standard. It's nice to be able to have a 110 plug in there, and we try to add a few 110 plugs there in the compartments. So come around back here. All the product will have a 2-piece rear cap. The nice thing about having the 2-piece rear cap is in general, if you damage it, you're going to damage the lower portion. The idea is that will fit in a box, and we can, you can UPS that lower portion versus having to replace the whole cap. Varied opinions on the new paint scheme. It's a little tribal here on the back, but I like this paint scheme just because of the amount of silver versus black. So you have some black accents without being too hot. So cord reel's been standard. The smart transfer switch has been standard as well. We do have a 110 plug within that compartment. Should be a 36-foot short cord reel. 8K Onan generator is standard. No option from there. Does a good job running anything inside the coach. So we did a video on this. We just haven't buttoned it all up because we were waiting on one other piece. So back in here, we actually brought the water pump from up underneath the bed, and then did an accumulator tank in there. So we just haven't buttoned all that up because we're waiting on one more part so they can finish that. Pretty proud of the guys figuring out that and just eliminate that noisy water pump from up underneath the bed. So the waste tanks, you got 75-gallon gray, 75-gallon black. You do have heat pads on the bottom side of those compartments, and you do have a hydronic heat register within the wet bay itself, and you have a temperature reading, so you get an idea of any kind of freezing conditions, and you can heat that off the hydronic register, which makes it pretty nice. There is a little flow-through vent, so some of that heat will radiate into here in addition to those 12-volt heat pads below those waste tanks. So this is probably the coolest thing about the 2025. We were able to talk them into doing dual inverters. There again, that was offered in that plant, so might as well offer it on additional products. So 25 Explorers was an option, and then also the LD. So pretty happy we were able to get that done. And we did additional solar panels, so we did a 100 amp controller instead of the standard 50 amp controller to accommodate a little bit more solar panels up top. 3 of the Battleborn 270 amp hour batteries, so nice boondocking capabilities. Of course, running an air conditioner, regardless of whether you're driving up and down the road or boondocking, makes it exceptionally nice as well. So no real difference aesthetically other than just kind of those trim pieces here. So if somebody wanted to kind of give their older Verona an update, we could easily change those grills out. So we'll jump in the coach here. Single Girard rooftop awning there. Just kind of a fake can on the back portion, and then the other side of it, they call them profiles is their term. So wider entry makes a huge difference in my opinion. I always like to kind of show how open the coach is with the slides in. So I can easily get in and out of the cab here. Lots of access here, and then I'll take and flip-flop with you. Don't fall down the stairwell. So still be able to get to washer dryer, get to this mid bath here, so a fair amount of room. I'll go ahead and run the slide outs. You want back, just keep on backing up. Jenna's a newbie, but she's doing a good job. I just don't want her to fall down any out of the coach. So hydraulic slide on this side, still doing a SchwimmTech slide, but most of our SchwimmTech problems have seemed to go away in the last year. So rattling a few cages there at Renegade, I think, has helped out a little bit. You hear lots of trash talk on the SchwimmTech. I understand why they do it. It's a fast product. It's a relatively easy product to service and maintain. There's a lot of other products that are definitely a lot more expensive. The problem is whenever they break, you have a huge expense to go along with it. So I understand it's not my favorite slide, but we can always fix them. We can fix them exceptionally fast. So solid surface countertops, basically all the product will have this LG solid surface. There's no variation there. No real variation in the cabinets. A few different stain choices, a little bit different profile for 2025. the previously they had the servo, or well, the servo readout. So basically the Victron readout was right there. It's now integrated into the Firefly, which is nice. So just various storage here. All the coaches will have the dual breaker panel. So the idea is only inverter panel and then shore engine. Another thing they did, kind of happy to see this, they were using the big clunky ladder in the past, and then they were using a cheaper style ladder on some of the lower line product that, if you were a big boy, even me, I would take a horseshoe shape that. So this is a pretty cool setup right here. I'm anxious to get this in other product just because that big giant wooden ladder was definitely a pain in the rear, and it beat up a lot of stuff as well. So like that setup right there. Never been a big fan of the glass up there. They let a lot of heat in, so in general we do a lot of ceramic window tint on the cab and then the upper window as well. And a lot of people will take and put like a little like a radiant barrier in there and keep that closed, especially in Texas when it's 100+ degrees. So Lambrite furniture, this is a fold out couch. You can do it as an option in the theater seat. The thing I like about the Lambrite, if you do the theater seats, you still have the center section that it basically comes up and down, so you can put 3 people across there. Convertible dinette. Not any options on the windows as of yet. Maybe in time to come we'll be able to do some picture windows, do some deletion of cabinets if somebody wants bigger windows, but as of right now that's what we're up against. Small little pantry right here. It's really, really long. You put your umbrella right here, maybe a long umbrella, or really short golf clubs, but nice that they were able to utilize the the full depth of these. You could probably fit a whole 30-pack right there, couldn't you? So a little bit tighter right here, but they do, at least we got some to use a little bit nicer. Some product will have these a little bit nicer pieces to be able to make it a little bit easier whenever you're in a tighter little hallway here. I'll do the little sit down here in the mid bath. So a fair amount of room here. They kind of dressed up the shower a little bit, still fiberglass shower, but they did a little, like a light design within the shower, so it kind of classes it up a little bit. Maybe in time we'll see a solid surface shower. Just never been a big fan of the neo-angle showers. Bend over and my butt's against the glass there, so I'd rather have a little bit more square shower, but all in due time. Let me take a flip-flop around with you a little bit. So I did not open up this slide. You're good. Okay. There's just light control here. Let me go over here and you're good. I didn't open up this guy yet. So 72-inch wide bed. Pretty much all the LEs will have a 72 versus the Explorers are generally a 66-inch wide bed. They're only 75 inches in overall length. So 150 gallons of water below the bed on basically every single product from Renegade. Starting last year, they did a 110 plug in there. So we get some people that want to put their CPAP machines, and we can take and do like a through hole there. So kind of keep that in mind. So back here, the egress window is in this wall right here. What I personally like about not having this as a slide is these closets are huge. If you go looking at the Explorer, whenever they do a slide, these come in, these come down, and then the depth of them is definitely quite a bit different. So I actually prefer this closet setup right here on the LE versus the Explorer. But the idea is 4 slides on our higher end, 3 slides on our lower end. That's kind of what they come up with. But a lot of people like this arrangement right here that, sit in bed and read, whether you read or, get a cup of coffee without having the window at the head of the bed. And that's the way basically all the LEs will be set up, the egress over here on this side. But you still have a ton of room. I mean, you got a massive, massive drawer bank all the way down. So there's probably the maximum amount of storage in this LE here. definitely in the bedroom. So pretty happy with the way everything came out. Glad that the guys at Renegade are listening about options, and it just made, like I said, it just made sense. If they're already doing it in the factory, why not offer those options in the other product within the factory? So maybe in time we'll see, a few different variations, but we kind of see a little like resurgence in the LE with those few options. And then, the big thing for a lot of people, especially this customer, was they wanted the bunk over sleeping, and you can't get any kind of bunk over sleeping in the Explorer or the XL. Maybe that will change in time, but there's still a lot of people that are drawn to this product to be able to, put a kid or grandkid here. There's a lot of people that prefer doing the theater seats here, but still be able to have the room up there for a kid or even any kind of additional storage. We've had guys come in here with, big giant like storage boxes that will go in there, so makes it pretty darn nice. I'll kind of close and just let you kind of span and look over the dash here. So much nicer setup, coupled with all the steering wheel controls. So all your cameras are integrated into that Garmin, but the nice thing is, even though it's an aftermarket radio, all the steering wheel controls do operate the radio there. A lot of customers will have us add an additional monitor, basically right back behind that module right there. So that's something we can easily do here at the factory, so keep that in mind. We're always happy to be able to accommodate people, kind of new and different ideas. So with any luck at all, I'll be back in Indiana. Supposed to pick up a new 2025 XL, which will be a 45 dBm. So if anybody has any interest in that, I'll make sure we get a video on the website ASAP on that. But appreciate Abel ordering this coach, and we look forward to him seeing the coach here in a few weeks. We'll get everything all buttoned up. But really appreciate you guys always watching these videos. Make sure you guys like, tag, and subscribe.